Hello everybody, I'm Varda Mehrotra. Palak said, I'm from FIAPO, which is the Federation of Indian Animal Protection Organizations. And as long as I can remember, as far back as I can remember, I was an animal lover. And in my early teens, I was having lengthy debates with my friends and family on dinner tables, as most of us do. And then in my early 20s, I had evolved to volunteering for various initiatives that were helping animals. So whatever little I could do, stuffing envelopes with appeals and sending out newsletters and so on and so forth. But somewhere along the line, I became an activist. I was no longer just an animal lover or a volunteer. I was an animal activist. So before we start talking about how to be effective as an activist, I want to spend a minute just to understand what activism really is. So simply, an activist activates. She's a catalyst. She rattles the cage. And let's be clear that as animal rights activists, we are trying to rattle a very big cage. Because we are trying to change how 7.7 billion human beings in this world relate to animals. Take a moment just to let that sink in. This means that everything that all of us in this room stand for, which is veganism, is fundamentally against society's acceptable norms and sanctions which allow the exploitation of animals for their bodies. As animal activists, we want to change the world for animals. But before that, we need to change 7.7 billion people. And in this path, all of us may choose different ways to be that catalyst based on our skills, our experiences, our conditionings, our expertise. Someone may choose to be a grassroots vegan activist. Someone may choose to be a vegan entrepreneur. Someone may choose to work in an NGO. But we are all united in our aim to be that catalyst, to change that exploitative human-animal relationship. So take the next 2 days of this conference to really appreciate how valuable and special each one of us really is. And the person sitting next to you, how special that person really is in this journey. We simply cannot afford not to be effective. And today I want to share with you a few tips that I wish somebody has shared with me when I started my activism journey several years ago. First of all, train yourself. You would never think about starting a new job or writing a piece of music or running a race without training yourself. But we all jump into animal advocacy without the thought to having to train ourselves. Do you really know what's the best way to do leafleting or video outreach or run an effective outreach event? Or do you know how to evaluate your company or what are the latest marketing trends for vegan businesses? There is so much room for each of us to evolve and grow in. And there are so many online resources, books, training, so there is so much available out there. And FIAPO organizes regular trainings across the country for grassroots activists to be able to train themselves. Make use of those. Second, think long term by focusing on recruiting activists. It's really important for us to make sure that there are people along with us on this journey. Maybe we won't be doing this work, whatever it is that you're doing right now, whatever is your service delivery right now, maybe it is to make the best vegan yogurt, maybe it is to make 50 people in your city vegan. But whatever your service is, you want more and more people to be involved in that. Can you imagine how tragic it will be that you've set up everything and then in a few years it just collapses because you just didn't bother involving anybody else? We need our movement to grow. So take time and think about how to involve other people in absolutely every activity that you're doing. Third, network. Thankfully, network is not that scary, smooth talking that everybody is terrified of that they show in the movies. Networking is simply about being your authentic self and talking to people about what you're really passionate about. What can possibly be more fun than that? So take the opportunity in this conference to connect to at least 5 other people. And if you're shy, then ask them how did they start their vegan journey. That could be a good icebreaker for you. Try to be flexible. Don't try to be perfect and follow one way of activism. Each of us has a different method we swear by. Somebody might think vegan business is the way to save animals. Somebody might think, if you don't leaflet or if you don't do video outreach, animals can't be saved. We can become really Puritan, but we are here to be catalysts, not to be purists. The movement attracts a wide variety of people with different skills, different interests, different conditioning. Our job as activists is not to make clones of ourselves. Our job is to find how can the person in front of us use his or her skills to the best effect for our movement. So try and complement each other, try and help people find their effective ways of contributing to the movement versus trying to create clones of yourself. Take support from established organizations. Organizations were set up for the same reason as individuals. To help save animals. It can be easy to want to work independently and only work alone, but it is really important to try and leverage the expertise and the resources that you can get from an organization. You'll never anyway 100% agree with anybody else in your life. So it's better to find an organization and find others who are closely aligned or the most closely aligned to how you feel and how you think and link up with them. Think about who aligns with your way of thinking. Go to them, offer them help and take help from them. Don't waste time on ideology and armchair activism. I spent a significant amount of time in my early days debating about absolutely everything imaginable. I debated about rights versus welfare, abolition versus incrementalism, direct action versus policy, you name it. And not only the big debates, but I also interacted with a wide variety of people. Hunters, environmentalists, farmers, feminists, the whole lot. And I cannot deny that those experiences very significantly helped me widen my perspective. And that's helped me hugely in my work to set up networks and alliances. And I can see areas of collaboration and conflict where maybe others can't. But it is so easy for healthy discussion to become dogmatic debate and argument which only creates factions. Stay away from it. Because arguing what way of activism or what philosophy is better is like arguing whether we should take a red fire engine or a blue fire engine when a house is on fire. We need both, and we need the water, which is more important.
We believe that so much of the increased progress we are seeing for animal rights and vegan living, such as the growing availability of plant-based milks in India and more restaurants proudly advertising vegan options, is rooted in the power of social media. The first most egregious abuse don't show the cruelty at all or put their own spin on it. That may not be the animal which is not in favor of the animals. With social media, the public is able to see the truth. When you share social media content or make your own, don't forget about videos. PETA India regularly shares videos on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube accounts as well as on our website. Feel free to share them from these platforms. Social media is an inherently emotional platform. We all know that. Facebook, for instance, is focused on reactions, and these are emotions. Does this make you angry, or perhaps sad, or you love this? When it comes to making people angry or sad, PETA India and our affiliates really go above and beyond. Nobody makes people as angry and sad as we do. I mean, angry alongside us, and of course not usually against us, angry at us. But there are a lot of animal abusers out there, we all know that, and so that does happen. But as many of us did think that harmed animals in the past out of ignorance, there is hope even for them. Here are some of our top posts to which people reacted with an angry emoji. This post is about an individual elephant who was beaten by a group of men in Jaipur. This post is about an individual camel who was slaughtered for a sacrifice. This post shows an individual calf being abused in the leather industry. You will notice, of course, that all these posts feature individual animals. Animals suffer when people deny that they are individuals. So when you are trying to encourage people to empathize with animals, it's a good idea to share the stories of individuals. This post is a great example of content that makes people sad. It's a video we shared of a mother cow being separated from her calf by the dairy industry. When you can show animals' emotions, you help people empathize with them. At PETA India, when we work on social media posts and videos, we often say that we want to make people cry. Internally, we use the hashtag making people cry, and that leads on to our favorite hashtag, making vegans. And of course, we share good news as well, such as victories and cute videos of animals. People do love great news. When you post on social media, don't just try to make your post broadly emotional. Be aware of which emotions you are looking to make people experience. Are you trying to make them angry at the meat industry or sad about cruelty to chicken? And it's easy. Our friends at PETA affiliates around the world work to draw attention to the plight of animals in any way possible. They organize protests and carry out investigations, but particularly love how easy it is to get attention on social media. They know, for example, that when you do the unexpected, people can't resist paying attention, whether on the street or online. Here's an example of this from PETA US. To prove that there is no good reason to eat bacon, or rather pig flesh, they challenge people on Twitter to present your best argument for eating bacon. They received almost 18,000 responses and have yet to hear a single compelling reason to eat bacon. However, with a single tweet, they got more than 10 million people to think about the ethics of eating bacon, and afterwards, they saw increased engagement with follow-up tweets about bacon, like the Bacon in Reverse video. The social media team also worked around the clock responding to people's comments to take full advantages of this engagement opportunity. The bold move got so many impressions in one day that it became the group's biggest ever day on Twitter at that time, and it received loads of media attention, including TV, news, and friends. This all stemmed from one simple but surprising tweet. I believe this could only have happened on Twitter. While all social media platforms rely on word of mouth, people sharing content with their followers, we have found that it's easier to reach far beyond the bubble of your own followers on Twitter. PETA US typed 7 words of this tweet and reached 10 million Twitter users. This is an extreme example, but social media puts the power to reach people directly in your hands and make it easy to do so. When people are scrolling through social media, you have to grab their attention quickly. It's just a fraction of a second. This means it can be helpful to focus in one point you want to make. You can share other points later. That brings us to the importance of bite-sized content for social media. We find that our content typically has the strongest impact when it's laser focused on a single issue. This video from PETA US shows the spiked nose-ring fitted the baby cows on some dairy farms. And yes, as disturbing as it is, this is a thing. This is done so that they cannot feed from the mothers and instead humans can steal the milk meant for them. In a long video about the dairy industry, this detail may be missed. So they made a video all about this one torture device. Try to connect with people on a single issue. Make them feel it. Cut through the clutter of social media. When it comes to reaching your friends and followers, the great thing about social media is that you can take your time. You're planting seeds with every post. Every day you can post about a spike nose, rings, or another. You can explain that beef industry is supported by the dairy industry. Next, you can describe how cows are taken away from their mothers so that humans can steal their milk. And later on, you can let people know that cow's milk often contains pus. And of course, you can post about how much you love vegan ice cream. And beyond that, put yourself in the shoes of the people you want to reach when your friends and followers share your content with their friends and followers. What messages will make those people feel something, make them comment, react, and share it even further? Empathy will lead the way. Finally, I want to emphasize that PETA India's entire social media presence is only possible thanks to people like you. Without supporters sharing our messages, we would be in an echo chamber. So thank you to everyone who creates and shares animal rights content. Thank you.
Each month we have a different event, we focus on a different species, and we get people involved with the animals. Then we give them a wonderful homemade lunch. We wouldn't have the budget to provide as many different kinds of samples for people. Veg Fund makes it possible for us to buy the things to be able to give them those samples.
Finally, I'd like to invite Mr. Paul Srinarula to share his insights about effective vegan activism.
Sawadee krab. That's the way we greet each other in Thailand, to make sure that you all know that I'm from Thailand. For gents, we say Sawadee krab. For ladies, Sawadee krab. Slightly different. Let's all practice together. Sawadee krab. I was born in Thailand, in Bangkok. I was born vegetarian. I very often accompanied my mother to a fresh market. And in the fresh market, you see chopping of animals, chopping of chicken, fish. One of the scene, a vendor would pick up a frog, remove the skin, throw skin on a bowl on one side, frog still alive, pinkish color. Once the skin removed is pinkish in color, throw on the bowl on the other side, very fast. Pick up a frog with a knife cut in between, remove skin, throw into the bowl on one side, frog alive still jumping into the bowl on the other side. I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't sleep many more nights. And as a boy, it's just a fantasy that I wish I had a miracle. I'll go to the market, point my finger. With my miracle, I'm going to stop all this. But as I grew up, I realized that it doesn't work that way. The best approach is to educate the public. And when it's time, when I'm ready, we pull up like-minded people. 28 years ago, we started the movement. The first, until today, the most active, the largest non-religious vegan movement in Thailand is called BIVA, B-I-V-A, Bangkok International Vegan Alliance. Now, let me share our format. Before starting BIVA, I have been very active with Rotary, with Lions, with Toastmasters. So my experience with Rotary, Lions, Toastmasters, I pull in those format and created our own format, how we go about BIVA. Our first 18 years, we host twice a month meeting with guest speakers. As far as I know, no other organization hosts such frequent meetings, vegan, globally. We were probably the most active vegan organization in the entire world. We host twice a month weekend meeting with guest speaker. Because of my experience with Rotary, Lions and Toastmasters. So we were lucky in a sense that our guest speakers all along have not just been local, but has been very international. And beside twice a month meeting in our first 18 years, once in a while we do host potluck dinner so that the new vegan know how to prepare their own vegan food at home and bring food to share. We do visit schools, educational institutions. That was before the social media age, to put a movie of a slaughterhouse to school. We visit hospitals. Those are some of the activities side by side we do with hosting twice a month meeting with guest speakers. Now I mentioned first 18 years because our approach changed with the rise of the social media. We find it no longer necessary to hold that frequent meeting. So we reduce our meeting with guest speaker to once every quarter. 4 times a year is enough. And then we use a lot of social media. We are very active on social media. And we are also very open to working with any vegan related organization anywhere in the world. We are open. We are open to help. We have been helping PETA for the last many years. PETA has an office, very active office in India, very active office in Philippines, but they do not have office in Thailand. So Thailand is being overseen from the PETA Manila office. So whenever they need to do some activities in Thailand, we always extend help. The last help was also related to elephant abuse. PETA came over to secretly shot elephant abuse before the show. And we helped them all the way through, including filing a case with the police department. And eventually most of the sponsorship for that event withdrew, including international sponsor, because of the video footage. Most other sponsorship withdrew their support, their sponsorship. We also have helped Humane Society. Whenever they are in Thailand, they need any help, we extend help. So we are very open. We have also been working with Sac Lawas for veg voyages. Whenever groups in Thailand, we try to cooperate. Till today, we remain as the largest, the most active non-religious vegan organization in Thailand. There are quite a few other vegan-related organizations, but mostly related to some religion. Now, I like to share me personally. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a trainer, business trainer. When I host my own event, nothing to do with vegan. When I host my own event, business conference, I serve 100% vegan food. When I conduct training, I serve 100% vegan food. When I'm invited to speak in a conference, when I'm invited by the organization to speak, I suggest them to serve vegan food. Some follow, some may not follow. At least I make a lot of effort. And when I host my own event, which is nothing to do with vegan, I do not announce in advance that I'm serving only vegan food. Otherwise, some may not come. But those who attend and join and have the vegan food, so far I never receive any complaint. They are all very happy. So these are some of the activities I do, and I would love to welcome all of you to Bangkok, Thailand. Allow me to extend you Thailand hospitality, my hospitality. Thailand is, I think, one of the emerging vegan destinations. We are still behind UK, US, Israel, but not too much behind. And we are definitely ahead of India in terms of veganism. So you need to visit to Thailand to see how a meat-eating country is emerging as the vegan. Now in Bangkok alone, there is a vegan outlet opening up almost every month. One new outlet opening up. That's the way we are. And that's the kind of work we have been doing for the last 28 years. Before I started the movement, not even one vegan outlet in Sukhumvit Road. You know, Sukhumvit is a happening place like your Delhi Connaught place. Not even one vegan outlet. Today, after 28 years, more than 12 pure vegan outlets. And 30, 40 years ago, when you declare yourself as vegan, you are looked as something very strange. Today, Thailand still basically a meat-eating country, but when you declare yourself as vegan, people look at you with respect. So attitude of the people have changed. That's the work we have done. Viva will be celebrating 28th anniversary on 29 September, Sunday. This year, Sunday, 29 September. You are all welcome to join us as our guests. In Thai, we say Khop Kun Krap. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, panelists, for such an inspiring talk. Let's give them a big round of applause.